there is one movement that I would like people to understand and to be able to perform correctly, it would be the hip hinge. We'll show you what the hip hinge looks like in a second, but why the hip hinge? One, the ability to hinge the hips is going to help us maintain lower back health, prevent lower back injuries in the future. Also, the ability to hinge the hips is going to allow us to deadlift correctly. If we can hinge the hips, we can take a lot of stress off our lower back area. We can maintain a fairly neutral spine, which is what we want throughout any movement. And two, we can recruit the glute muscles a lot more when we're able to hinge the hips. Okay, so usually when I ask someone to hinge the hips, the first thing we get is kind of, they think they turn it into more of a lumbar flexion type of movement, okay, rather than a hip extension type of movement. When I talk about hinging at the hips, I'm talking about getting the weight back on your heels, maintaining a fairly neutral spine, okay, pushing your butt back, feel the load through the hamstrings, up through the glutes. Really, I'm not feeling that compression through the lumbar spine. Okay. Again, I'll ask people to do this, and let me see you hinge at the hips, and we kind of get this almost locked knee, spinal flexion type of movement. So one way to learn it, okay, is just a pretty simple move you can do at the gym as part of a warm-up. You can do it at home. We're just going to stand a little bit away from the wall, stay a foot away from the wall, and we're going to start in a tall position. And all I want you to think about is we're just going to think about reaching your butt back towards that wall. Okay, I'm a little close there, so I'll slide away a little bit. Again, I'm just going to push that butt back, trying to keep my spine in the same position the entire time. Back, back, there. Even move away a little bit further. See if I can get that butt back from there. Pushing back, back, back. Okay. Again, right there, I feel the load through the hamstrings. I feel the load through the glutes. I feel very little pressure through that lower back area. Now, what does that look like? It looks like a deadlift, right? The starting position of a deadlift. Okay? It also looks like how we should pick things up off the floor in order to take some pressure off that lower back. Another way to think about it too, this is if I'm just using a wooden dowel, or you can use whatever you can come across. Now if you have a hard time thinking about a neutral spine, okay, you see this stick is touching really 3 points: my head, my shoulder blade area, my glute area. Okay. As I hinge the hips and push my butt back, I'm trying to maintain those 3 points of contact the entire time. And forward. So, again, if you have a hard time with your single leg deadlifts, with your regular deadlifts, if you feel like you're putting too much pressure on your lower back, you're really feeling some low back discomfort, or even if you're dealing with low back pain on a daily basis, it might be just because of that extra, or the rounding of the lower back you're getting when you're trying to execute those lifts, or when you're trying to pick something up off the floor. So just spend a couple minutes, maybe a couple times a week, getting off that wall, learning that hip hinge, okay? Learning how to use those glutes, learning how to keep that neutral spine, and it's going to do wonders for your low back in the future.